What is going on, everybody? It's Dr. Chris Featherstone here for yet another episode of UnSKripted. Listen, it's Tuesday night. You know what that means. I have some of the biggest, the baddest, the best wrestlers of today and yesteryear, and tonight is no different. Why is tonight no different, ladies and gentlemen? Because this guy, he's a referee, but not only is he a referee, he is by far the fairest, most impartial referee in pro wrestling history, ladies and gentlemen. Why? Because he calls it right down the middle, ladies and gentlemen. And without further ado, he is just a legend. He is a legend, specifically in ECW, man. But he's refed way more events than ECW, but he's widely known in ECW for his alliance with Sabu and RVD. And if I can get the date right, it was September the 20th of 1997 when he went against Bill McGillicuddy and had a crazy intergender match that is by far one of the most memorable intergender matches in pro wrestling history, ladies and gentlemen. And don't you forget, he calls it right down the middle. Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Alfonso, how are you tonight, my man?
And that was a great introduction, man. I'm flattered to get all that stuff said about me, man. But it's all true, basically.
It's all true.
Right. And I'm thrilled to be on your show. And hello to the thousands and maybe millions of watchers of your fabulous broadcast, man. I'm sitting with Dr. Chris, Daddy. You've had some big superstars on, and here I am, Daddy.
Yes, indeed, man. It's great to have you on the show, man. So we were talking off air, man, and you have a pretty good display wall, display shelves of all of your pro wrestling paraphernalia, man. Are you going to give us a little tour?
Yeah, I'll walk you through some stuff. It's just some, you can imagine the stuff I've collected in 40. This is actually, I started breaking into business in 1978, and then I got my first contract in 1980, May of 1980 for Florida Championship Wrestling with Gordon Soley and Dusty and Eddie Graham.
Love it.
Then went to TBS and worked for Ted Turner, WCW, and then got picked up by WWF at the time.
Yep.
And ended up in ECW, man, and still to this day, I'm still relevant. I work almost every weekend. I'm somewhere either working they call them indie shows, indie shows,
Mhm.
which do quite well. I'm flying all over the country doing shows, and I just did a fabulous ECW type reunion at the ECW Arena in Philadelphia, December 17th, just less than 2 weeks ago, and it was great convention slash wrestling show at night. Van Dam, Sabu, everybody was there. Sandman. It was just great, man. The fans loved it, and I loved it too. We got the
That was at the
big
2300, wasn't it?
yes. I call
Mhm.
it the ECW Arena because that's our
Oh
home.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great, man. It was thousands of people that came in and out for the convention all day.
Nice.
Uh, we just had a great time. Great time. So, the ECW is like a cult. It's been off since 2001, and it's
Yeah.
still going on. I got like a cult type following. I get kids coming up to me 19, 20, 21 years old at these conventions and shows and say, man, oh Fonzie, I like I said, brother, you weren't even born in 95. Talking about how we follow it, we trade, we do this. So it's pretty cool to still be relevant. And it's really thanks to ECW, not counting the 20 something years I refereed
Mhm.
international, worldwide, been to Tokyo, been to Japan 13 times, and did the big Ric Flair Fujinami match, 65,000 people at the Tokyo Dome, 1992, I think it was. It was great, man.
Wow.
Um, but I get more recognized because of ECW.
Mhm.
Don't forget about me refereeing, but they really enjoyed me being that character, the Fonzie
Yeah.
character.
That's the thing. It was the character. I mean, that's what really got you.
But when
Uh,
they,
my-
had I just had come from WWF,
mhm.
so I was Vince wants the doctor, his wife, and the two kids at ringside.
Mhm.
ECW, the audience was 85% men, age between 19 to 32,
Mhm.
hardcore, blood, guts, violence. So
Mhm.
they brought me in to be anti ECW,
Mhm.
and try to stop the violence. And and then I later on became Fonzie and a manager, and so it became a character. But the
Mhm.
same guys when I came in that spit on me would buy me a cocktail at the Marriott after, so I know I was doing my job. And you mentioned the match between me and Beulah.
Mhm.
If you ask Paul Heyman, hey Paul Heyman, out of the years of ECW, the hundreds and thousands of matches, what are your? He would say the Beulah Fonzie match is one of his top three favorite matches. So that's
Wow.
cool.
Nice. That is pretty cool. Real quick question before we get to the questions here. I guess a question and then anytime any opportunity to plug. Now the that event at the ECW arena that was supposed to have Devon in it, right? But WWE put the kibosh on that.
Bubba was there. Bubba was there, but so I think Devon's in the office
Yeah, WWE. Yeah.
for Vince, and so for some reason they blocked him. But
Mhm. Yeah.
I see Devon periodically at some of the shows and stuff. He still looks great, man.
Nice,
Fantastic.
nice. Yeah.
Really.
That's a little odd that he was advertised. So I imagine either they advertised too early or WWE gave him the go ahead, and then at the 11th hour they pulled him out. So
Well,
that was unfortunate.
that I had this action figure company call me, and they offered me big money. They wanted to do action figure of me, Sabu, and they already did one of Sabu, but they wanted to do me and Van Dam and have it a threesome
Mhm.
action figure type deal. And we were all for it. And of course, I signed right away. And Sabu's already signed, but they blocked it. They said no to RVD. They told him he couldn't do it because he's on that Legends contract.
Wow.
Do it, but no, they're going forward. It's heels and faces um, action figure company. So they'll be coming out sometime this year, hopefully. But they
Nice.
blocked him. They blocked Van Dam from from
Wow.
the.
Yeah.
Yes, I wish I had the Legends deal.
Yeah, but I mean, I heard they don't really get paid much with that. I mean, they get paid decently, but they just kind of it's kind of like a retainer, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like it's
Um,
just
I don't understand about the pay issue, but Vince pays big money,
yeah,
but I'm not sure what Devon's making, but enough to not argue and say, okay, I won't go to the show
yeah,
this season.
yeah, yeah.
Those guys.
Well, yeah, yeah. Well, hopefully, you get you a Legends contract just to have you, a nice guaranteed money, and I guess WWE would have to, because the thing with the Legends, as far as I remember, is that like you're not like an active employee. You're on the Legends contract, so they're able
Right.
to pay you, but by paying you, they also have jurisdictions to give the yes or the no for any type of appearances or anything like that.
Yeah,
So
they have appearances for those guys.
yeah.
I don't know how many. I don't know too much about it, so I don't want to speak too much on it.
Mhm.
Uh, but yeah, we missed Devon. We sure
Mm.
did.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm glad you had a good time, man.
Had a great time. You want me to walk you through some paraphernalia?
Let's do it, man.
Tell you what I've been doing.
Yeah.
I work for multi companies. I work for a company called CCW out of South Florida.
Mhm.
They're really cool. They really treat me good. I manage one of their top guys. And this Friday, I'm in Cleveland with AIW. I manage Matthew Justice, who's badass. He's currently employed by GCW. And I did something with them at Hammerstein a couple of months ago.
Mhm.
So I just, whoever calls me, I put on my shirts and and I go make the shows, man,
Nice.
and have a great time. So here's some of the paraphernalia I got. Of course, some of the cool pictures, and
Mhm.
there's my backstage pass for WrestleMania 9 at Caesar's Palace, which
Yeah.
was really cool.
You did
Uh,
Taker and Gonzalez match, right?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I was fortunate enough to work. Did you know I was Giant Gonzalez's personal assistant for 3 years?
I did not know that. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
he had, they built him as 8 foot. He was actually 7'9", but he was the largest professional athlete on the planet at that time. And he
Mhm.
needed not a handler, but he needed somebody with him 24/7.
Yeah.
And they asked me because I got along with him, and he was very cool. And it was just me and him for 3 years going around the planet, man. Every major arena in the United States and different countries. It was fabulous to be his assistant. I got a good story, but it's kind of rated R, and I know this is a PG, so I'll leave that one out. We'll save that one. But anyway, so back to some of my stuff. Um, Speaking of ECW, we had WCW going, WWF going, and ECW going.
Mhm.
And all the managers and stuff in WWF and WCW, they chose me in 1997 as manager of the year.
Mhm.
And what the big magazine, the sports. Let's see what's um,
The PWI.
Wrestling Illustrated, Pro Wrestling
Yeah.
Illustrated.
Mhm.
That was the internet back then.
Mhm.
The magazines. That's how people. So that was pretty cool to get manager of the year competing with Vince's guys in WCW. That was pretty cool that they gave me that. And there's some stuff from WrestleMania 9,
Nice.
Undertaker, Giant Gonzalez, Tatanka got manhandled by the Giant.
Mhm.
Here's my favorite Giant right there, man.
Andre Boss.
Yeah, he stepped on my foot at Miami Beach Convention Center. He had a guy in the turnbuckle beating him down. I was behind him trying to break it up. He stepped back and he stepped on my foot, and it still hurts today. I
Ooh.
think he cracked. It was crazy, but that's a cool story. I got some great stories for you, Dr. Chris, about airplane crashes and stuff and
Mm.
alligators. Uh,
Wow.
this
I
is
love
at
stories, man.
Hammerstein Ballroom. Van Dam and the Big Show and Kurt and
That was the
Paul.
reunion, the WWE reunion, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yep.
Mhm.
We were all there. Of course, I'm right there in the middle.
Nice.
Let's see. I'm looking for some old pictures. Oh, there's Terry Funk, man. Dr.
Uh-huh.
Dusty Williams.
Nice.
He got a lot of stuff of Sabu and Van Dam. And
Mhm.
there's my man Taz. Don't forget, I managed Taz
Yeah,
for
I
a
do. I
year.
remember that. Yeah.
Uh, um, and there's a picture that about the Beulah thing. We almost bled to death. I had to get rushed to the hospital, Dr. Chris.
Mm-hmm.
I almost died. It was crazy.
Yeah, then you have like a plate or on your head and like bandaged up and stuff like that.
Well, I got she busted me open like the first 10 seconds of the match. She couldn't hit me more perfect with that damn tin sheet. It was like a boxer's cut right above the eye,
Mm-hmm.
and I think she hit something in there because it would not stop bleeding. It was
Mm-hmm.
we wouldn't be talking about the match now if it wasn't for the blood. So the blood made the whole match, and I'm glad it happened.
Yeah.
So I bled throughout the whole match, which lasted about 7.5 minutes. Get back to the dressing room, and the paramedics were back there, and they couldn't stop the bleeding, so they put some type of cold plate and wrapped me up and rushed me to the hospital. Head trauma gets priority in emergency room, so they took me right in. And the nurse came up and she started undoing the thing. I said, I wouldn't do that if I were you. She says, oh, I've been doing this for 20 years. I know what I'm doing. So she took that damn thing off, and the blood shot all over her. It was great, man. But they stitched me up, and they wanted me to stay
Mm-hmm.
overnight and so on because I lost so much blood. But I made it through. And
Very nice. All right, we got about 10 minutes or so. Let's
oh,
get.
don't be wrapping me up, Daddy. I ain't talked about the alligator stories. I can talk all night long,
Well,
Daddy.
yeah, that's great, man. We are on a time limit. I
I
would
got,
love to bring you back though, man.
I,
I
yeah,
love road stories. I love road stories.
that's
So
what I'm good at. I'm good at road stories. People want to hear. They see what they see on TV, but they want to hear how we got to this building.
I
All
love that stuff.
that
Yes, absolutely.
Sullivan. What happened to this guy? And
Yep, yep. All right, Alex. We start with super chats first. 199. Any Booker T interactions or stories?
Booker T, he was a sensation, man. Um, I worked with him in WWF in the early 90s. He was great to me, great athlete, super guy to be around. I traveled with, remember, I was with Giant Gonzalez, so it was just basically me and him travel. But I think I went on, Booker T, I was on a 5 country cities in 5 countries in 7 days. It was all through Europe. It was France, Germany, England, Scotland, and one more country, I forget. But Booker T was on it. He was in the semi-main event. Hogan and Yokozuna were the main event, and Booker T was a semi-main event. So I think he was worked against Papa Shango.
Hmm.
And what a sweetheart, great guy.
Wow.
But I go Ron Simmons. You don't know who Ron Simmons and uh, um, uh, Sweet Brown Sugar, Skip Young, and Butch Reed, and all the super Ray Candy. I'm naming all the super black athletes. I started in 1980, and I got to meet and work with Bobo Brazil. He was on his final tour. He's ready to retire, but he was doing his final tour, and he came through Florida for a couple of months, and I got to work with him and meet him. What a sweetheart. Bobo Brazil. Can you imagine working with Bobo Brazil, the legend?
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, I was lucky.
Yeah, very nice. Aaron's asking, what was it like being the ref for the Undertaker Giant Gonzalez match at WrestleMania 9?
It was very cool. I was flattered to be on the card at first. Being a WrestleMania, that's a big payday, a big thing. The largest professional wrestling event in history is WrestleMania, and Giant Gonzalez wasn't a classic worker. He got by, but he was over because of his size.
Yeah.
And that, of course, was fantastic and very good in the ring and led him through it. And the finish was Giant Gonzalez grabs me and gives me a choke slam, brings me up. I must have been up 15 foot in the air, and he drives me down. He literally knocks me out cold. And the state athletic commission there, you can't touch referees in boxing. You can't touch the referee, so they fined him 10 grand, and of course Vince paid it, but it was in the finish.
That was Nevada, right?
Yeah, no, it was in Vegas.
Yeah, Nevada.
Yeah. Caesar's Palace. Yeah, that's yep.
Yeah. Very interesting. So Kelvin's asking, what was it like refereeing Shawn Michaels versus Marty Jannetty Intercontinental Championship match?
Speaking of that, that leads me to this answer. I was on the first Monday Night Raw in the early 90s that they shot. I was on the first Monday, refereeing on the first Monday. And it was either that night or a week or two after that it was Shawn and Marty Jannetty, and they switched the Intercontinental belt and they put Marty over, and I was a referee. And damn, I got a picture of me holding up the belt somewhere on that. That was pretty cool. It was fabulous, man, to be on live TV on Monday night. It was a new thing, man. And
Yeah.
I can't believe I got to be on the first Monday Night Raw over 30 something years ago, whatever, 92 or
93.
93.
Yeah, January 93. It'll be
Yeah.
next year. It'll be 30 years since Raw.
So if you go back and look at the first one, you'll see Fonzie refereeing, calling it right down the middle.
Very nice. I think Undertaker versus Damian Demento was the main event of the first one. Interesting story. I just chatted with Damian Demento this week.
I know that. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a big painter now, man. He's doing
Really?
he's like that's like his thing now. Is he like his whole living is like this painting now. So
Well, congratulations. We got to find something to do because we're still active. I just turned 65 years old.
You look great, man.
Thank you, my man. Thanks, Dr. Chris. Wrestling's been my whole life. I've never had another job other than wrestling. I lucked out and been in the business for 40 something years.
Nice.
So we got to find something to entertain ourselves. And luckily, I get entertained I get to work on these weekends. Like this weekend, I'm in Cleveland, as I spoke, and I manage Matthew Justice. He's badass. They got a great company up there, and I've been with them 3 years, in and out for 3 years. I go once a month up there, the Cleveland area, the Ohio area.
Mm-hmm. That's where I'm at, right? Remember I told you I was I'm an Ohioan.
Am I going to see? I won't see you this weekend, will I?
No. I'm about 2.5 hours from Cleveland.
We're in Akron.
You're in Akron? Yeah, that's about
so I'll fly into
2 hours.
Cleveland.
2.5 hours.
If you can make it, you got my phone number. Call me. You be my guest, my celebrity guest.
What day is that?
That's this Friday.
Friday.
This Friday. Yep.
Friday
I fly out of Tampa and land at 9:00 and go have breakfast and then go do the show.
Oh,
that night. Fun. I fly back home Saturday morning.
Oh,
so
wow.
If you're available, come call me and we'll give you the red carpet. You'll be my guest.
In and out, man. That's
backstage with me, hang out and chat with the boys. You may, get somebody to come on your show, whatever. Matthew Justice is pretty cool.
Have some interviews. I won't be able to do it on Friday. I have commitments. But next time you come to Ohio, though, let me know.
I'll look at my book while we're talking. I got some dates coming up in Ohio. Some more dates. I think. The 26th of March. Yeah. I'm there. February, I'm in Youngstown.
Okay.
Youngstown for AIW.
That sounds great.
Yep. That's
anywhere in Ohio, man. It's
that's on the 11th. Yeah. I'll call you for a reminder and see if you want to come, if you can make it.
Cool.
But they're usually on Fridays.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. Sounds good. I'm a doctor by day, so I would have to just leave after my clients, after I see my last client, and just
absolutely.
Elvis is asking, what untold story can you tell? Oh, my camera keeps going out. What untold story could you tell us about Paul Heyman backstage, and how is he out of character?
Paul Heyman, I was a referee in Florida. Mm-hmm. Started in 1980 for Eddie Graham. He was there was his company. Gordon Soley, commentator, and Dusty, all of them were there. So I'm there for a couple of years, and you know how guys come to different territories. Back then, it was territories that come in for 6 months to a year, and then you go to Texas to work for the Von Erichs, then you go to the Carolinas and work for the Crockett's, and you go to Georgia and work for those guys, or you go to Bill Watson, Louisiana. So Paul Heyman came down with a guy named Tombstone back in the 80s, and he was trying to break into business. And he was riding around with Tombstone. Tombstone was booked for about 6 months there. And Paul and I was assistant booker at this time. Bob Roop was the booker, and I was assistant booker at Florida Wrestling. So Paul Heyman said, "Hey, Fonzie, um, Tombstone's leaving, and I'm leaving with him. I can't say, but you think I can manage him the last couple of weeks he's here? Go to the ring with him and manage him." And I said, "Well, you got." He had a pair of Levi's on. He had a pair of Chuck's Converse on and a T-shirt. I said, "Man, if you get a suit, we'll put you. We'll let you go out there." And Tombstone was working with Razor Ramon, Scott Hall. It was Scott Hall at the time. So, and Scott Hall was doing the big finish, and I was doing some type of press slam. I said, "Yeah, you can work with him and take Hall's press slam every night." You know what I mean? So he did that for 2 weeks, and he thanked me. And then later on, he became a manager for up north and became a big star. So, and then I had worked with him in WCW a little bit. So I'm finishing up in WWF at the time. So I get a phone call, and it's Paul Heyman. We've been friends for 25, 30 years. And he calls me up, and he's the booker of ECW. He says, "Fonzie, I heard you just finished up in WWF, and we'd like you to come in and be this anti-ECW referee in this company called ECW." I said, "What the hell is an ECW? I've never worked an indie or any type of promotion other than the big ones, WCW, WWF, Florida Wrestling, the territories." And I said, he said, "We want to bring you in for 4 weeks. And then at the end of the 4 weeks, we choke slam you, 911 and choke slam you, and then you finish. And we'd appreciate if you come up and do that for us." I said, "Hell yeah, Paul, I would love to." So I came up, and my character start getting big heat. And Paul Heyman is brilliant as a booker, and he's got a great wrestling mind, good with the stories and so on. So he said, "Fonzie, you're getting over. We want to keep you for an additional time." And he said, "We think we want to put you with Taz." So he put me with Taz, and that worked because Taz had 4 or 5 different gimmicks. He was Tasmania, Monkey Boy, whatever. Then when he became Taz, he got over. Not because they put him with me. We both helped each other, and he got over. But then he didn't need me no more because he could talk. And then Sabu didn't talk. It was perfect. And then he put me with Sabu, and I was end up staying there 5 years.
Very nice. All right, so let me give you a little bit of Taz trivia real quick.
Okay.
Mr. Manager, his mantra was, "Beat me if you can,
and survive if I let you."
Very nice. Good job.
That's badass, man. He was very cool, very good to me, very good to me. And I don't talk to him all the time, but once in a while we cross path, and he's got a great job in AEW with my name. A guy named QT Marshall?
Yeah, he does a lot of training, Nightmare Factory.
He works for AEW. And he came down into South Florida and did a show that I was on, CCW, this company right here. And he said, "Hey, Fonzie," I didn't know who he was. He said, "Hey, Fonzie, my name is QT Marshall. I'm in the office at AEW, and your name has come up twice in the dressing room during the meeting, whatever." And he said, "Just hold on." So they're talking about me in AEW. I would love to go do something there. Would love to get a contract, or even just give me a chance to see what. I don't know if I'm marketable. It's all young and beautiful kids. I'm an older guy, but I may be able to get over to some capacity.
Yeah.
So
they should bring you in some capacity, even if it's for, just a short run or something.
A special event, something where I cause a little commotion to get it recognized and in and out. That'd be great. I would love to do that.
Just bring your whistle. All right, a couple more questions.
You damn right I'm going to bring my whistle.
That's right.
I got my own. Have you seen my championship extreme whistle?
Oh, nice. I love it.
Yeah, I got them on the market, man. They're badass.
Very nice.
I was flying to Los Angeles, and I was sitting next. I upgraded and bumped up to first class because it's a 5-hour flight. And I was sitting next to a guy. He was one of the big shots of Mattel Toys. And we started talking about stuff. And he said, "What do you do?" I said, "Oh, I'm in sports entertainment." I said, "What do you do?" He said, "Oh, I'm at Mattel Toys." I said, "Hey, can you guys make me a whistle?" He said, "Fonzie, we're $1 billion company. Who the hell are you? But what I'll do for you is I'll give you one of our companies that do some stuff for us, and maybe they'll do something." So they came up with this.
Okay.
And
Very nice. Congratulations,
last
man.
year, I bought 1,000 of them.
Mm-hmm.
I sold 700 of them, gave 300 of them away. So they're pretty cool.
Congratulations, man. That's
So
very
they're in the
cool.
market. Thanks.
All right. A couple more. Of course, here we go. Rollin 49 Super Chat, man. Thank you so much. And then we're gonna end it on this one here. He's
Okay.
got 3 questions for you. One, what was more enjoyable, being a referee or a manager?
Well, when I was refereeing matches like Fujinami and Ric Flair and 65,000 people in the Tokyo Dome, it would be refereeing. When I was refereeing at Caesar's Palace at WrestleMania 9, what a thrill. That was it. But when I was managing Van Dam for 2 years as a television champion and getting all that airtime and develop that character, the Fonzie character, Bill Alfonso, man, it's hard to say, that was really thrilling, and that's why I'm right here talking to you guys right now. That's a cool question, man.
Yeah.
And it's hard. I'm gonna call it right down the middle. I love both refereeing and managing, Daddy.
Very nice. Number 2, what was more enjoyable, managing Taz or Sabu and RVD?
Well, I think it was RVD and Sabu because I was with them for Taz a short run, approximately about 8.5 months or so. It was great, but managing the two big stars, the biggest stars in ECW, and going to Japan with them, a lot of connections with those guys, and I still work with. I just was sitting. It was me, Van Dam, and Taz at the table at December 17th in Philadelphia at the 2300 arena at that convention and match. Man, I managed him, Rob Van Dam, in the main event against Rhino, and we were sitting at the same table signing autographs. It was cool. So those are my boys.
Fantastic. And then lastly, was Sabu pointing to his late uncle, the Sheik?
Well, he was pointing before the Sheik passed, like that. Is this a symbol that he came up with? And there's a lot behind that, and it directly with the Sheik, has connections with the Sheik. Can I tell you a real quick story? How
Yep.
Sabu and I got so close. My first professional match in 1979 in Lubbock, Texas. I refereed my first match and got paid $90. My first professional match. I'm trying to break into business, and they put me right in. The main event was the Sheik and Terry Funk in a chain match. So, and I got busted open and all that, and it was a hell of a match. So when I went to ECW and met Sabu and told him that story, we instantly bond because I worked with his uncle, and so him and we just clicked together after that. So fabulous.
Very nice. Good stuff, man. Let the listeners know one more time, man. Any merchandise you got selling, any events you got coming up, man, plug away.
Well, I got. I'm going to be in California for WrestleMania that week. There's conventions and shows and all kind of stuff. So they're bringing me out at their big convention there. I'm going to be there for a couple of days.
Nice.
Sabu and I. I'm sure Van Dam's going to be there too, but he'll be under WWE's deal. I got shows coming up in Washington D.C. for a company called AWA. It's a new company. They want me to be their commissioner, so I'm thinking about it. I'm going to fly up and check it out. I'm doing a show January 7th, CCW in South Florida, and of course this weekend, Friday, for AIW Cleveland, and it just keeps going. It keeps going. I'm doing podcasts. I'm available for podcasts. I'm available to chat. You can find me on all the social media sites and message me. I got cool merchandise. I sell 8x10s and my whistles, and I sell some ECW jackets and stuff like that. But
what can they find your social media?
At Alfonso Bill. On Twitter's Bill Fonzie Alfonso.
Okay.
I'm very easy to find. You can message me on there, and I'll get right back to you. And and chat a few minutes and see what you guys are interested in.
Fantastic, man. I got to bring you back on the show, man. There's so much.
Dr. Chris, man, we didn't talk about the near airplane crash or the alligator meeting and none of that,
Oh,
man. We need to do some more. I would love to come back on.
Fantastic.
And I want to thank all your viewers for checking you out. You put on, I've been researching you, Dr. Chris. I know you're badass, man. I know who you are, Daddy.
Appreciate
you're big
it,
time.
man.
A lot of followers. And thank you for showing interest and following me tonight on Dr. Chris's show.
Very much, man. It's been a great time, man. Happy New Year, my man. It's great to have you on the show tonight, man.
It's great to be on. Can I blow my whistle to wind
Please
it up?
do. Yes, absolutely.
All right, guys. Hey, Dr. Chris, all you wrestling fans out there, all you listeners live on this broadcast, have a good New Year, and hopefully I see you soon. If you come up to me and say, hey, I saw you on Dr. Chris's show, I'll give you a T-shirt or a whistle. All right, guys. Talk to you guys soon. This is Fonzie signing out.